Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I am very, very excited indeed, because we've got final confirmation of, well, the pre-release promos that are coming around for Lost Origin. And ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited indeed. These look cool, although for the very first time in a while, and it has been a while, we've actually got a pre-release promo that's gone and been revealed for a card that we haven't actually seen yet. And honestly, it's a very specific card that'll make sense in a moment, and it's kind of hard to figure out if it's any good or not. So I'm going to rank them like I usually do. But I think what I'm going to have to do first is have a look at this new one and then just go and rank the other three. So what we've got here is a new Finian. And between this and Luminion V, which is of course a very good card of an amazing ability, lets you search out supporter cards, somebody at the design team has suddenly decided that they love Luminion. And I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm kind of into this. Now, first thing we need to mention is this has Okacheke artwork, and there was no Okacheke artwork in Dark Phantasma. There's no Okacheke artwork in Pokemon Go. We've had 2 sets in a row in Japan with no Okacheke cards. It's starting to make me a little bit nervous. We've got a new Okacheke card. And look, this more than any other, okay? If you go to a pre-release and pull this Finian, please, please, please hit me up for a trade. I'm going to get a couple pre-release kits like I always do. But if I don't pull the Finian, I am going to be desperate to trade for anyone that does. So please, if you get this Finian, do let me know. Now, here's the interesting thing about this Finian. I don't really know if it's any good. Like, at all. Because it's clearly a new archetype coming that we don't know much about. Now, it says, as often as you like during your turn, something, something, something water energy card from your something, something, something has the swim freely attack. So there is clearly a new archetype with an attack, swim freely, which is awesome. And clearly you can... I'm assuming it is move energy. I'm assuming it is move water energy from your Pokemon to a Pokemon that has a swim freely attack. It could be attach an energy card from your discard pile to a Pokemon with a swim freely attack, but a basic Pokemon being able to accelerate energy from the discard, that's the kind of thing we see on stuff like... Well, speaking of Okacheke cards, it's the kind of thing we see on Flaffy, which is a stage 1. Maybe because it's only for Pokemon with swim freely, but then again, it's as often as you like during your turn. And generally, when it's as often as you like during your turn, it is moving energy, think something like Bronzong, rather than attaching energy, think something like Flaffy. No guarantee one way or the other, let's be perfectly clear, but I feel fairly confident saying it's moving energy from Pokemon to Pokemon with the swim freely attack. A basic Pokemon that lets you move energy around. And yes, for the pedants among you, like myself, that is also an ability that is generally reserved for stage 1 Pokemon, but it's not quite as broken on a basic as it would be if it let you attach energy. We've not seen any Pokemon with swim freely, although I think it's a really, really good prediction that Luminian's going to have it. We know Finian doesn't. We can see that it's, I don't know, there's something WA in the attack. And similarly, you can probably imagine some other Pokemon are going to have the attack, but it's something that unfortunately, as it stands at the moment, we don't know. As always, when these cards are revealed, I will show them to you. That's kind of what I do. And this is one of those wait and see scenarios, honestly. So I'm not going to rank this because honestly, I don't know where to rank it. But I think we got a clear number 3, and in at number 3, we've got Machamp. Now, Machamp did come around in Dark Phantasma, that wonderful set, which is a really cool set, but doesn't actually have any Okacheke artwork in, which, like I said a moment ago, actually makes me very, very sad. And Machamp is another one of those cards that is really good, butts a stage 2, and that might be enough to make it not that good. The ability says that if your opponent has 3 Pokemon in play or fewer, you get an extra 150 HP, so you go up to 300, which is immense. 300 HP is more than we've seen on any V-Star so far. That's V max territory, and now you're getting it on a single prize Pokemon? That's ridiculous. And then just 2 energy, you deal 100 damage, and you may do 100 more. If you do, this Pokemon can't attack during your next turn. Well, we've seen a million can't attack next turn attacks in the history of the game. They're used all the time. We see it literally at the moment with Genesect, which then gets copied by Mew, and that's not a big deal. So no, nobody really cares, ladies and gentlemen. The whole, you're fine, all right? Don't worry about that. It's basically 2 energy, 200 damage on a 300 HP Pokemon. And 2 energy, 200 damage on a 300 HP Pokemon that not for nothing hits a great weakness is clearly good. But it's a stage 2 Pokemon. And that's a huge problem. It is worth noting we actually just got in Astral Radiance, that lovely item card. Now, I've been calling it Gritty Pickaxe, but that's not what they actually translated it as, is it? Gutsy Pickaxe, there we go. Look at the top card of your deck. If it's a fighting energy, attach it to one of your bench Pokemon. So that'll get the second energy on. If you can stream Stage 2 Machamp, it's great. But that is one heck of an if. Now, in at number 2, we've got the card we can see all of, and it's kind of cool. It was a little while ago, we were all sitting around waiting for pre-release kits to get to store so somebody would reveal the cards. Nowadays, Pokemon tend to show us this official image of the pre-release cards, although annoyingly, you can only see all of one card. But hey-ho, it's usually not an issue, but now with Finian, firstly, they've covered up part of the Okacheke artwork. Boo. Secondly, yeah. They've gone and not shown us what it does on an unrevealed card. Never mind, we'll find out soon enough. Although, genuinely right, even if I wasn't a giant Okacheke fanboy like I am, I look at those 4 cards and I'm like, yeah, that Finian's amazing, I want that Finian. But most people are loving the Gengar, and I see why. I'm still putting it at number 2, I'll explain in a moment. Gengar's got the ability Netherworld's Gate. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is in your discard pile, you can put it onto your bench and place 3 damage counters on it, which is immense. Now, if anybody's wondering, wow, that sounds a little bit specific, yes, it's for Zoroark. Hisuian Zoroark V-Star has an attack for 2 energy that does 50 damage for each of your Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. So clearly what you're supposed to do here is play this with Hisuian Zoroark, which I want to say made the final of Juniors at the Japan Championships. It is a good deck which is doing quite well over in Japan. It's not top tier or it's not beating up stuff like Palkia, but it's still really good. And this is made for it, frankly. So that's why this ability exists. It was in the same set. It's clearly there as a partner. It's not the only one, of course. There are plenty of other things you can do with it, but that's the main use for it. For 1 Psychic Energy, you put 2 damage counters on your opponent's active for each of their bench. So the other thing you can do really nicely is just, play one of these Gengar, whack it in the discard pile, and if your opponent ever has, 5 bench Pokemon, then you've got a single energy 100 damage that you can hit. That's pretty good, ladies and gentlemen. That's pretty gosh darn good. I really like the Gengar. I think it's a really good card. I think it's one we should all get a little bit excited about. It's one that I like very much indeed. This is a cool Gengar. It's a really cool Gengar. But I don't think it's as good as Comfey. Comfey was only actually revealed on Friday when we finally got the reveal of Lost Abyss, and oh my word, that took its time to come out. But we finally got the reveal of Lost Abyss, and I'll be honest with you, it did not disappoint. Because there's a lot of cool cards in there, and one of the coolest cards as far as I'm concerned is Comfey. And this Comfey, I am already seeing people over in Japan getting pretty gosh darn excited about it, and honestly, I understand exactly why. This has got an ability whereby, once during your turn, if it is your active Pokemon, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, 1 goes in your hand, and 1 goes in the Lost Zone. Now, obviously, in a Lost Zone deck, it's phenomenal. You know, we've got Cramorant. If you've got 4 or more cards in your Lost Zone, you can ignore all the energy and the attack cost. So it's 110 damage for 0 with 4 cards in the Lost Zone. Or Giratina V-Star, that if you've got 10 cards in the Lost Zone, it's an instant KO on the active with the V-Star power. These are pretty gosh darn good things. These are pretty important. But it's also just draw. It is a basic Pokemon with draw power. And it's as simple as that. Obviously, it shines best in a deck that wants to get cards in the Lost Zone. No argument here. But the other thing is, there's no text on there that says you can only use one. Now, Antoine translated it as flower picking, but we've actually kind of ish got the real text. Oh, it might literally be called flower picking. Antoine called it flower picking, the lovely Antoine Boulet, our favourite translator, although there are other really good ones. And it seems like it might be flower picking here. Either way, there's no text on it saying you can only use one of these abilities during your turn, and I think this basic Pokemon with draw power is going to end up being the best of the cards. I think Gengar is a really good card, which is going to see a bunch of play in Zoroark and other decks, and I do really like Machamp, but it is a stage 2 and that is a bit of a problem. Finian, honestly, it could go either way, because we don't know what Swim Freely is, and we don't know exactly what the ability does. But let me say this super clearly right at the outset. I want Finian. And honestly, if I open 2 build and battle kits, I wouldn't mind a Finian and a Gengar, obviously. But I would happily take 2 Finian, because oh my goodness, that artwork is amazing. And I am, as previously mentioned, a massive Okacheke fanboy. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about these. I want to know which ones are your favourites. I want to know, frankly, anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would ya? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.